Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers in Mozambique help out a handless but optimistic woman. We visit Qinghai, China to see how Tzu Chi seeds are beginning to blossom in the region. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Dennis Wu. Thank you for joining us. Starting today's program in Southeast Africa's Mozambique. In 1990, Claudia was injured during the country's civil war and had to have her hands amputated. Despite this hardship, the 48-year-old grandmother continues to be upbeat and never complains about the difficulties she has encountered. Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers presented her with supplies and a Jinsi portable bed, for which she was very grateful.
Carrying this child, 48-year-old Claudia is much like a normal grandmother who enjoys playing with her grandchildren. However, a closer look reveals that both of her hands have been amputated, though she has never taken pity on herself.
We were fleeing the Civil War in 1990, and I can't remember what happened. I just remember that when I woke up in the hospital, my hands were missing, and I was surrounded by injured people.
Claudia lost her hands as well as her home. Later, with the help of a priest, she was slowly able to care for herself.
At the time, the priest built a center to care for us. I thought that I didn't want to always rely on others to help, so I learned to take care of myself. Later, I moved to Bobole.
For 26 years, Claudia has not only lived on her own, but is also looking after her grandson, as her daughter does odd jobs in town. She's able to manage to do this all by herself.
Now I'm at home taking care of my grandson. After he goes to school, I'll have less time to spend with him to get along with him.
Today, Tzu Chi volunteers bring special supplies along with a Jinsi bed for her to enjoy.
When Tzu Chi volunteers come to see me, I'm very happy.
Claudia's resolute will has earned the praise and respect of Tzu Chi volunteers. On their next visit, volunteers promise to help her set up a small vegetable garden to allow her to become more self-reliant.
Every year in the middle of April, Thailand and Myanmar have their annual water festival. But instead of splashing water on each other, the Tzu Chi chapter in Thailand used the occasion to offer clean water for washing the feet of the elderly and for serving them tea as a way to show respect.
At the annual Songklang Festival in Thailand, locals celebrate the New Year and honor their parents and family. Tzu Chi volunteers in the Prawet district of Bangkok are holding a special event at the Thon Lana Temple to honor seniors by offering them food bath and serving them tea.
We hope that people will be able to recognize the true meaning of the Songkran festival during this time. Even though everyone enjoys the festivities, they should not forget the true meaning of the occasion. I hope they'll all spend time surrounded by families and remember to express their gratitude to their elders.
80-year-old Kritapod is busily showing deference to his parents as he gently massages his mother's legs. Although he is a bit shy, he's also happy to express his gratitude.
I'm really happy today that I have the chance to wash my mother's feet.
This activity today carries on Thailand's tradition of honoring parents on this day. It's a day for every family to come together.
Munching on the cookies given to her by her daughter is Sudarod. Her joy in seeing her daughter grow is obvious. Although her daughter's gesture is small, it brought them closer together.
I'm always worried about my daughter, especially now as she's growing into adolescence. As her mother, I hope that I can always be there by her side as she grows.
Celebrating the New Year is about more than just splashing water for fun. Today, as these young people wash their elders' feet and express their gratitude, they're also cleansing their thoughts and hearts.
In our next report, we'll take a look at how Tzu Chi's missions have begun to take root in Qinghai, China. The first Tzu Chi seed there, Qi Haiming, joined Tzu Chi's volunteer training at Tzu Chi Suzhou grounds after learning about the charity on DaAi TV. Since then, he has worked tirelessly to promote Tzu Chi's principles and inspires people's compassion.
At the blessing ceremony, 80 community residents have gathered in the small venue, praying for all. Inspiring people's compassion has been Qi Haiming's goal in carrying out Tzu Chi's work.
Everyone has compassion. How do we inspire their compassion?
The stately cultivation ground is actually Qinghai Ming's former home. Learning about Tzu Chi from watching DaAi TV, Qi joined volunteer training at the Tzu Chi Suzhou grounds. Upon his return to Qinghai, Qi decided to change his old residence into the first Tzu Chi office in Qinghai.
We can only gather people if we have a place. So I thought about making the best use of the house by turning it into a good cultivation ground.
In fact, Tzu Chi volunteers have already reached out to Qinghai back in 1995. The snow disaster caused the residents of the Tibetan Plateau to run out of food. In the beginning of 1996, Tzu Chi volunteers from Taiwan traveled to the disaster area, enduring altitude sickness to distribute barley and financial assistance. Now Qi has brought Tzu Chi to Qinghai again. With his efforts, there are currently 300 donating members of Tzu Chi there. As a flooring merchant, he hired employees to look after his shop so he can dedicate himself to Tzu Chi's work with his family support.
Serving gives one strength. I have felt that our income did not decrease because we volunteer with Tzu Chi, nor did our life become difficult.
Besides the couple, their 4-year-old daughter also drops coin in a coin bank every day.
These are for children without food. It is for children without books. As a young volunteer, I will save to donate and do recycling.
As Tzu Chi's missions take root on the Tibetan Plateau, they have also created a ripple effect of love and compassion.
For the second year in a row, Tzu Chi volunteers in Hong Kong's Qinghai village recently held a free health clinic that successfully treated many local seniors. Team Dr. Man Chi-yin not only performed checkups, but also enthusiastically greeted seniors and got to know them and their troubles. Another doctor participating for the first time was Melody Wang, who was deeply moved after interacting with the seniors and understanding the importance of the clinic.
With support from the local community association, Tzu Chi volunteers in Hong Kong are holding their second annual free clinic in the Qinghai village. In addition to services for basic health checks, there are several other departments available as well. Dr. Melody Wang is a first-time participant at a TIMA free clinic. When a senior tells her about some leg pains, the doctor doesn't hesitate to kneel down and help remove the senior's shoe for a closer look.
There was a patient with leg pain, and the doctor used her hands wearing gloves and took off the patient's shoes and massaged the patient's foot. I just think that was a very warm and kind thing to do.
Dr. Wang's mother is actually a Tzu Chi volunteer, so she was eager to participate in today's clinic.
This is a way to help out and do a little more for society. There are many elderly men and women that can't go out to see a doctor so easily. Without this opportunity, many of them may not even know they have a health problem.
Without a designated examination room, Dr. Man Chi-yin checks on patients in the waiting area while making sure the clinic is moving smoothly.
I think that when you spend time helping the people around you, that's really the most meaningful way to use one's time.
Pediatrician Li Ziliang recognized the need for such clinics in society and was especially drawn to help.
When we have a case that requires a follow-up, we can make a referral for them and see that they get attention and receive treatment quickly, so the problem won't become more serious.
At this clinic in Hong Kong, the primary goal is to promote preventative care. In the future, TIMA hopes that more healthcare professionals will join their strength to Tzu Chi's medical mission in Hong Kong.
In Zhanghua, Taiwan, Mr. Xie is a homeowner keen to promote environmental protection. Years ago, he bought a 4-story house which was in poor condition and had a few problems. Instead of rebuilding the home, he decided to renovate by using discarded building materials, which won him a National Gold Medal for architecture.
I welcome you to my energy-efficient house. Yes, it's quite bright as the lights come from above, and the mountain provides some shade. I don't need to turn on the lights and use any electricity.
Mr. Xia's use of natural sunlight means that during the day, many of the light fixtures in the house are purely ornamental.
When I made the stairs, I didn't want them to be solid because that would cast a shadow and cause that area to have poor lighting.
This 30-year-old house is a 4-story variety that opens out onto a nearby street. Floors 1 through 3 tuck up against a mountain, leading to poor lighting as well as problems such as humidity, and in the summer it is quite hot. The previous owners had a restaurant on the first floor, and the air conditioning cost each month was quite exorbitant. Later, Mr. Xie would quickly solve this problem.
The whole house is like an oven, which is why I added another layer of roof to trap the heat between the layers. All I have to do is open this window here, and all the hot air will escape through here.
There's a gap of around 80 centimeters between the old and new roofs to trap a layer of hot air, which can escape from adjacent windows. Also, this helps heat up solar panels installed above. 24 solar panels generate 4,000 units of electricity annually. Near the staircase is a steel and glass ventilation tower, which not only allows more sunlight, but allows hot air, which is lighter, to escape, leaving downstairs cooler. Poor condition of this house has led some to tell him to tear it down and rebuild it, which he thought would be a waste. Xie had to reread junior high chemistry and physics to create his own design, later asking a structural engineer and contractors to do the work. He devoted much to the project because he didn't want his living environment to burden the earth.
Using the best or costliest materials to build a house is unnecessary. I don't think that we need to waste all of the Earth's resources for this.
Inside this cabinet is a National Construction Award personally presented by the President. Mr. Xie never expected to win such an award, as he was simply using the environment as a starting point and trying to solve problems with his house, which was dark and humid. Now he has successfully transformed this old building into a gorgeous energy-saving home.
Tzu Chi facilities include schools, hospitals, chapter houses, grounds, Jinsi halls, recycling stations, and liaison offices. Besides the schools and hospitals, Tzu Chi volunteers as well as members of the public can come to the rest of the facilities to join activities that serve a higher cause. By doing so, they also help cultivate their spirituality. We now learn about the many different functions of these Tzu Chi facilities in today's Tzu Chi 50th anniversary special report.
At 7 o'clock in the morning, Zhan Yuying and Lian Saixia greet each other and then begin a day of environmental protection.
After my husband passed away, I came here to recycle. He has been gone for almost 20 years.
Also part of the group, though Grandma Ke Yuanyang suffers from Parkinson's disease, she is just as devoted to recycling as anyone else.
This is not a problem. Doing this is like exercising, which will keep me healthier.
These 4 volunteers have a combined age of some 300 years old. Every day, they come here to recycle and treat it as physical rehabilitation.
We will continue to do this until the day we can't move anymore.
Setting an example for all by taking action, they demonstrate the spirit of conservation, which has made an impact on society.
多少老菩萨，大家用心用爱投入呢，老人家做得很开心，而且呢，这好亲像一个平安机同款，大家聚在一起，感觉到我虽然做伙啊，我也可以呢为大地尽一份的力量。
Whether it is in a bustling city or a serene rural township, such kinds of work and stories can be found just about everywhere.
Since I came here to recycle, my health has improved. I haven't gotten sick at all.
The simple and easy lifestyle is accessible to all Tzu Chi Jingsi halls, grounds, recycling stations, and liaison offices. Not only can people come here to mingle, they can also recharge here. Even without attending sermons, people can pick up Tzu Chi's humanistic culture here. The multifunction design of the Jingsi halls and grounds caters to everyone. Besides recycling, people can come take on kitchen or cleaning duties here. Plenty of activities include regular main events and are also made available to keep everyone involved. And whenever a disaster occurs, these locations can be turned into an emergency response center.
复兴航空从台北飞往金门的班机，在起飞后3分钟，
在复兴空难。
When the Trans-Asia Airways plane came down, we could easily go to Nangang from Sanchong's Jingsi Hall, so we began making ginger tea and hot meals here. During Typhoon Sodelar, the Sanchong Jingsi Hall was also the first to provide hot meal service.
先提供便当。
Tzu Chi volunteers can always be seen delivering hot meals to those in need after a disaster. But to be able to mobilize on a large scale, localized manpower is necessary, and it all started 15 years ago. In 2001, Typhoon Nari caused serious flooding all across Taipei, with the Qinghai district almost completely submerged. As people had no access to water nor electricity, Tzu Chi volunteers immediately began preparing hot meals at its Nehu grounds. Due to the high demand, the volunteers set up under metal shacks to prepare the meals.
那时候中央厨房一天。
The central kitchen at the time could supply 100,000 lunchboxes a day. It was because we had the support of our community volunteers that we were able to make 700,000 lunchboxes in 8 days.
We didn't have enough stoves, so we had to use those portable stoves.
Some vegetables had to be stir-fried, while others had to be boiled. As everyone was cramped together, it was easy to get burned.
The makeshift kitchen did its job, but also brought about changes.
As there were quite a few disasters back then, so Master Zhenyan instructed for a central kitchen to be established in Nehu.
After the kitchen was built, the Nehu grounds got the upgrade it needed to better prepare for disasters.
我们的这个机制是越来越快。
We're now able to respond quicker and quicker. Depends on where a disaster occurs, the nearest Jingsi Hall will be in charge of carrying out disaster relief.
Whether it is something as insignificant as a lunchbox or simply recycling, the work is supported by the devotion of numerous Tzu Chi volunteers who are determined to make a difference. And thanks to Tzu Chi's various facilities, supplies and equipment are always ready for the volunteers to turn their devotion into action.
As the term implies, contemporary art should reflect matters related to modern life. The artist Yang Jintzi, who spent years living in the United States, uses discarded aluminum cans to create giant sculptural works, such as a large sphere or a human figure, hoping that his art can awaken the public to environmental issues. He personally visits a Tzu Chi recycling station in Taipei, where he works with other volunteers to source aluminum cans for his artwork. His latest exhibition at the Museum of Contemporary Art Taipei is Kill Me or Change.
Garbage is a valuable resource that can even be used to make art. Yang Qingche's artwork highlights the rapid destruction of the environment and the ignorance of mankind. Discarded aluminum cans form a giant human-like figure representing all of us.
You see that everyone is well dressed to show off their stature, style, taste, and brilliance. But if you close your eyes, everyone is in fact the same. Much like this robot which I made.
In fact, this giant robot looks glamorous but is actually made from waste. Qingche's work shows humans' love of artifice leads to excessive consumption and waste. He spent months in Taipei at Tzu Chi recycling stations collecting 30,000 aluminum cans for this work. He says this is the number of cans a typical human consumes.
I often tell a lot of people that aluminum is very good and can be used for many things, like making a spaceship or aircraft. But when you go to think about our excessive consumption, we now have a negative perception of this material.
30,000 aluminum cans represent an individual's typical consumption. To represent this, Qinghai invited volunteers to mold these cans into a giant aluminum ball. His exhibition is currently on view at the Museum of Contemporary Art Taipei, where he explores issues related to the environment to create long-term positive change.
In Kelang, Malaysia, Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for a former New Shoot Scholarship recipient who has been suffering from mental illness since 2011. Besides cleaning up his house, the volunteers also invited this young man, Seng Tiong Fa, to make new friends at a local recycling station. Now Seng has become a close friend to Tzu Chi volunteers and is leading a fulfilling life as a recycling volunteer.
When we first came, we encountered problems as his younger brother did not welcome us and even drove us out.
I used to throw a tantrum, and I was emotionally distressed. The doctor said I had hysteria.
Recalling their experience 3 years ago, Sen Tong Fa and Tang Tong Tuan never imagined they would one day become close friends. This day, a volunteer accompanied Sen to seek treatment for mental illness at a clinic.
I have truly heard voices, but sometimes they said that I like to lie.
In 2011, Tzu Chi volunteers came across Seng, who grew up in a single-parent family while visiting New Shoot Scholarship recipients. Back then, the volunteers helped clean up his house and invited him to meet new friends at the recycling station.
I do not know if I like recycling or not, but I like Uncle Ching San and don't want him to work too hard. Since I am stupid, I do not do the work well. Sometimes I messed up the items on the truck, but he would help me sort them. He does not blame me, so I like him.
He has become more optimistic. In the past, he seemed to lack self-confidence.
Now Seng's mental health has stabilized as long as he takes medication on time. In addition, he's living a fulfilling life being a recycling volunteer.
This is a Tzu Chi aunt. Look, she was still beautiful 3 years ago. I like all the pictures. There's not one I do not like. This was made in celebration of Mother's Day.
For 2 consecutive years, Teng has received Mother's Day gift from Seng and is deeply moved.
He called me and said, "Aunt, happy Mother's Day. It is approaching. I borrowed 5 ringgits from my younger sister since I don't have money. I bought a cake for you. Please accept it."
Auntie, thank you for teaching me so much. Happy Mother's Day, Auntie. I felt very happy writing this letter. Auntie, I love you.
After years of companionship, Tzu Chi volunteers are now like Seng's family and will continue to help him on his journey of life.
Tzu Chi's recycling volunteers from Singapore have made a special trip to Taiwan to learn from their local counterparts. Through visiting a recycling station in Taipei, the visitors learned how to better promote the concept back home. We join them at the end of today's program. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.